anticipation. We like to build anticipation for the viewers.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, boils and ghouls, welcome to Frightmare HQ. My name is Loyd Cryer, and I think we have all the bugs worked out, so maybe Charles Doze is joining us now. Are you there, Charles?
I'm here.
Yay!
I'm here.
I think Charles is Loyd Cryer, and I think we have all the bugs worked out.
I'm here.
Let's see if everybody can hear us or not.
Can you dig it?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Can you dig it, brothers and sisters?
I think we got sound now, Charles. What do you think? Is that crazy or what?
Do we have sound? I love being sounded.
It's a crazy night here at Frightmare headquarters.
It's time for us to get spooky. We got to keep everybody on their toes. You know why? Because we're spooky sons of bitches. You know how we do things here?
Listen to that music.
It's on. That's what happens when we appear. This is what it sounds like when I go to the bathroom. It's just like this. I'm getting old.
When you go to the bathroom, it sounds that way.
It sounds just like this when I go to the bathroom. I'm like,
oh, holy mackerel. Turn it up a little. Can you turn that up a little?
You want me to turn it up a little?
Yeah, turn that stuff. Turn that up. We like those sounds, those creative special effects, everybody.
You want me to crank it to 11? How about now? Can you hear it?
I want you to go to 11, Charles.
That louder?
Oh, yeah. Now I can hear it.
That's spooky. Oh, shit.
I'm super creeped out.
Shiver me timbers!
Whoa. Was that Popeye?
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! It's time for 1991. I love 1991, guys.
Oh lordy! So we got a lot of folks joining us now. Now that we're back on the air, we had a little bit of an issue, but we're back now. Let's say hello to some folks. What do you think, Charles?
Man, I love everybody who's here.
We have a lot of people. So Chrissy Gilliland came back. Thank you, Chrissy, for coming back.
I thought it'd be just like us by ourselves. So like, screw these crazy people. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're crazy. They don't know what they're doing. So Chrissy's here. Allie Tappa's here.
What's up, Chrissy? What's up, Allie?
David Dugas.
Oh, David Dugas makes me feel good.
Gravy.
Or David Dugas. If we want to be fancy. Dugas.
With the pinky finger up. Hello, David Dugas. Would you like to help me drink my alcoholic beverage?
Alcoholic beverage.
Makes me feel good.
Gravy.
Travis Brown's here.
Downtown T. Brown, the man with the plan, here in the midnight hour, making sure we get nasty. Travis.
Ingrid Hubert.
Ingrid's my homie. Ingrid knows that.
Jeanette Nolan is here.
I know Jeanette. I know Jeanette. Who else is here?
Those are creepy sounds, man.
It's hard out there.
Before I go on with the rest, I want to celebrate something. John Estrada is one of our viewers, and I believe his birthday is tomorrow.
John's birthday's tomorrow?
Yes. So I want to say happy birthday to John Estrada. Thank you, John, for listening, and I hope you have a fabulous birthday. Play some sound effects and clapping. Oh.
We want him to have
We want him to have a creepy birthday.
This is for his birthday. Whoa, happy birthday, senor.
Skidoo 99's here. Patrick LaGrave is here. Todd Seeley is here. Charles Anderson is back.
Yes, Charles.
Oh, and there's Ann Tobin. Hi, Ann. What's up?
Ann, we miss Ann.
We do miss Ann. Stephen Bird is here.
Bert makes it hurt. That's what
Looks like we got a full house. That's just on YouTube. The people that I see commenting. I don't know who else is watching. Just to make sure everybody knows, though, right. JRE is the Estrada that we just wished happy birthday to. And he's commenting on YouTube. So
thank you, JRE.
Everybody wish him a happy birthday. John Estrada.
Happy birthday to you. Oh, yeah.
Gravy.
Love it. Bring it.
1991, Charles.
Man, guys, there was 3 good movies in 91. It's going to be a full year this year. It's
that
a
was
great
about
day.
it, right, Charles?
It's a great year in 91, you know? But we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work.
We're going to make it work.
It's all right, though. 1990 was the banner year for the 90s, but it's all right.
Yeah,
we're here.
It kind of just, you started out the 90s with a bang with 1990.
And then it fizzled.
And I think that was mainly just the 80s exiting. It's all that was.
It was all the 80s excrement that was falling off the end of the tailpipe. It was like, it's all over, guys. It's all
and usually,
over.
Isn't that like when we hit 2000, didn't everybody say, well, this isn't really the start of the decade. The first year of the decade is 2001, actually.
Well, there you go. I'll go with that.
So, I don't know. I guess it's just how you look at it, right?
It is how you look at it. You know what? I'm going to say that's right. Let's do it.
So let's start. Let's go with the first movie from 1991. Who's starting tonight, Charles?
That's you. Go ahead.
All right, that's me. So this is kind of a cool little flick. Martin is a total loser who makes a deal with the devil to become the greatest rock star in the world.
Oh, man.
Released direct-to-video January 31st, 1991. It's the American comedic horror film Shock 'em Dead.
Oh!
Written and directed by Mark Freed and starring our favorite, Tracy Lords, also known as Rock 'em Dead.
Rock 'em Dead, Lloyd. You know all about Rockin' 'em Dead, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know if I know all about it. I don't profess to be any kind of an expert. I'm just a dude who watches horror movies.
I'm just a guy who trying to be like a guy who's trying to be like the other guy, you know?
I'm just a dude watching another dude watch a horror movie, man.
Rock 'em Dead, though.
What do you think about Rock 'em, Shock 'em Dead?
Rockin' 'em Dead right now. Rock 'em Dead. Well, Rock 'em Dead was definitely a B movie. That's a good way to describe it.
It was.
There's not really anything that you would call in the way of production value or, a screenplay or costumes or score. But it's got Tracy Lords in it, and I love Tracy Lords. And
so do I.
The movie itself actually has some great music in it. There's a lot of fun music. It's generally a lot of fun. I mean, it's not like it's never going to be on the top of anyone's list, but I mean, Tracy Lords isn't bad to look at for 93 minutes. And
yeah.
It's a fun movie.
And this was in the beginning of her regular career.
Yeah, this was one of her first things.
Yep. You had Not of This Earth was kind of her first mainstream actual movie, right?
Yeah, and then you had Crybaby was in there, which
Crybaby came out in 90.
Yep. Right before this, and Shock 'em Dead didn't really do very well. I mean, it's kind of easy to say. It was direct to video. The video was only released in the U.S. Really, it wasn't really released anywhere else. I think later on there was VHS releases in Germany and Japan, I believe, but it was many years after. It was just kind of one of those movies that was made and just kind of dropped out. People were like, all right, well, that's a movie that exists. Here it is.
Yeah, exactly. You have a trailer queued up, right?
Yeah, let's roll a trailer.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Shock 'em Dead, starring Tracy Lords. Shock 'em Dead. Tracy Lords. Shock 'em dead. For the girl of his dreams, he'd make a deal with the devil. Shock 'em dead.
All right. There we go.
Man.
There was a trailer for Shock 'em Dead, everybody.
Guys, that's the most 90s trailer I've ever seen in my life. It looks like the intro to like a 90s TV show. Shock 'em Dead, starring Tracy Lords. Dun dun dun.
I will say chicks were hot in the 90s, though, man. I kind of dig the whole 90s girl look.
Man, yeah, that movie was made super cheap. It was made on like 95 grand or something. Something really
Was it
cheap.
really?
So, yeah, super low budget. You know, it was directed by Mark Freed, and well, Mark Freed didn't really do anything ever again, so there's that.
Do you know anything about the behind the scenes of this movie, or?
Not really. I have never heard much about behind the scenes. I know that most of the crew of this movie, this was the first thing they ever did, and Mark Freed wrote and directed it. And quite honestly, I think it was just a guy trying to make a movie. It did have Troy Donahue in it, who was a huge actor in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Troy Donahue was also in Crybaby. He was Hatchet's father, but he was also in Godfather Part 2. Lots of movies in the 50s and 60s. A lot of those, 50s and 60s horror movies. But don't know much about the production of this movie. You know, it kind of was just made and came direct to video, and it kind of had a following on video. It kind of still has, but nothing really major. You know?
Yeah. Massacre Video put it out. Did they? Was this a shot on video too?
Yeah, I believe this was shot on. I'm trying to remember. I believe it was shot on 35 millimeter, if I'm not mistaken.
Which kind of explains why we've never really had like an awesome Blu-ray or anything.
Yeah, I mean we could. I mean it was shot on like a film negative, 35 millimeter film negative, but I don't know if the original negative exists. Yeah, it was shot on 35.
Ah, okay.
I have a feeling though. I mean, I have a feeling it was probably not shot on the best 35 millimeter film, so the negative probably doesn't exist anymore because you have varying levels of film. And this one, I mean, it was kind of shot to be like almost like a made-for-TV movie because it was shot in film. A television ratio, which is like 133:1. It was shot like in that box format, and I don't know much else about it, but I'd like to see like a remastered cut run through.
Yeah, I didn't pick up the Massacre Video of it yet, so I have no idea what that looks like.
Yeah, there was a Blu-ray back in 2015, and I don't recall it really being that good, but who knows?
Who knows?
But who knows? But this is streaming on a service called FlixFling, and FlixFling is like a paid service, but sometimes they're the only people who have some of these weird movies. Like they're the only one who has Shock 'em Dead. You can't rent it on Amazon. You can't see it anywhere else. You have to either stream it on FlixFling or pay $22.99 for the Blu-ray on Amazon. So take your pick. That's the only way you're watching Tracy Lords in this Metasploitation classic. Go ahead.
Yep, unless you find it like an old VHS or something, right?
Yeah, if you buy one, let me know. I'll steal it from you.
All right.
But I think we can. I don't know. I think we can move on.
I think so. I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about on that one.
Well, let's go.
You're next up, but what you've got has become kind of a cult classic.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good one. A master of disguise maniac begins killing off the college students who are organizing a horror movie marathon in an abandoned theater. It was released February 1st, 1991. It's the American slasher film Popcorn, directed by Mark Harrier and starring Jill Schoelen and Dee Wallace. Oh, yeah. Popcorn.
Oh, yeah. Popcorn. Let's watch the trailer and we'll come back and talk about that one.
Let's roll it.
Before the horror of Halloween, before the fear of Friday the 13th, before the evil of A Nightmare on Elm Street, before them all, there was... Now, 15 years later, he's back. Oh, yes.
There's something happening here that I've been looking for all of my life. There's smoke. Someone takes her hand. She's running. The same man comes towards her.
I'm in a dream.
I remember the whole thing.
Are you ready? Popcorn. Buy a bag. Go home in a box.
Buy a bag, go home in a box. I kind of like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty cool tagline.
Yeah, Charles Anderson said he still has the scratch and sniff card they gave you at the theater. That's really cool.
No
I've
way.
never seen one of those. I know they passed those out, but I've never seen one. That's really cool. Ali Tapa said she just recently watched it for the first time. She always loved the VHS cover. Yeah, you know, the name Popcorn for the movie, originally there was part of the plot that had something to do with popcorn, and that was written out, but they just kept the title because they liked it. So they were like, all right, popcorn it is.
Cool.
I like popcorn.
I do too. If you look it up on Amazon, make sure you look it up under the movies section because you're going to get a lot of Orville Redenbacher and Act 2. And
I just want some popcorn, damn it.
I just want popcorn.
Would you like with butter, without butter? No, popcorn. The movie? Yes.
Yes.
The history of Orville Redenbacher? No.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you can still get the looks like the collector's edition from Synapse. It's a steel book. It's still out
still
there.
out
It's like $36. I guess, you know.
Yeah, the Steelbox is pretty cool on it. Yeah, Popcorn was a fun movie. You know, it's on paper, it seems like a redundant play on all the same 80s storylines that we saw, but you know, it's kind of a fun flick. You know, they do these really great on-screen recreations of like the 50s gimmicks flicks during it, which is really cool to see. This is basically another one of the Bob Clark crew movies. You know, they all kind of were always around each other. This was directed by Mark Harrier, and he wasn't a director. He never directed really anything, but he did star in Porky's. So he was one of the main guys in Porky's, which was written and directed by Bob Clark. And, of course, Alan Ormsby worked with Bob Clark on Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things and Death Dream. Even the score in this was pretty good, and that was Paul Zaza, who worked with Bob Clark on Porky's and A Christmas Story. But Paul also did scores for Prom Night and My Bloody Valentine. So his scores are kind of similar, but they always work really well in these movies. I mean, even his score for, like, Christmas Story sounded like it should be a horror score in some parts. But, you know, it's how it is. It's popcorn, though. What are you going to do with popcorn? You got Dee Wallace in it.
I never knew about the that collection. I mean, that Bob Clark connection. So that's pretty cool.
He had a similar crew, kind of like Romero did. You know, Romero, the people who were with him were always kind of pop up in his stuff. That's how Bob Clark was, too. They would all kind of be together. Bob Clark was a uncredited producer of this movie, too. So, I mean, they always looked out for each other, his little crew. It was, you know, Alan Ormsby, Bob Clark, Mark Harry was there. There's a few others, so. Popcorn.
Interesting. Well, there you go. What else do you want to say about Popcorn? Everybody's talking about it. Seems like a lot of people really like this movie.
Yeah, it is a good movie. The theater was in Jamaica, guys. So it's Kingston, Jamaica, where they actually filmed this. Very random location. You don't see many horror films filmed in Jamaica, but this was filmed in Jamaica. The whole movie.
Beautiful theater.
Yeah, it was a beautiful theater, and Jill Schoelen was in this, but Jill Schoelen wasn't the original actress in her role, which was kind of interesting. The original lead was Amy O'Neill in this movie, and Amy O'Neill got replaced. And Amy O'Neill, if you don't remember her, she was the sister in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. She was Amy Selinsky. And she got replaced with Jill Schoelen, but a lot of the movie was already filmed, so Jill Schoelen didn't actually work with a lot of the cast. She mostly did pickup shots with the stuff that was already filmed. It's kind of interesting. So, interesting about Popcorn. But if you're ever in Kingston, Jamaica, you can do film locations for Popcorn because that theater's still there. So
there you go.
Let's go to Jamaica, guys. We'll make it.
Let's make a trip.
Let's make a trip to Jamaica.
All right. Next up. This movie came out February 1st, 1991. Falsely accused of witchcraft, a woman is sent to the torture chamber of Mad Monk Torquemada.
Oh, God, this movie.
The Grand Inquisitor of the Spanish Inquisition, where he is determined to punish her for the desire she inflames in him. Oh, yeah.
He's like, you do that to me, Loyd.
I know. I'm always trying to punish you.
Uh-huh.
But, how did they say it? The desire, you inflame desire in me, Charles.
I gave you inflammation.
Where was I? First screened in February 1991 at the Fanasporto Film Festival in Portugal. This is the American horror film The Pit and the Pendulum, directed by Stuart Gordon and loosely based on the 1842 short story by Edgar Allan Poe, a bizarre descent into hell from the creator of Reanimator.
Oh.
Here comes the trailer.
It's dirty, Loyd.
That's right.
The Spanish Inquisition, a time when religion was fear.
There is one faith, and all else is sin.
Innocence meant death. And love was lust.
Barely to leave my thoughts.
The master of this madness was Chief Inquisitor Torquemada.
Some souls have turned so far from God that pain is the only way to call them back.
She was an angel of light.
Stop! Have mercy! Stop!
Who would tear his world of torture apart.
In Christ's name, I beg you. Have mercy.
Arrest her.
No.
Maria is like an angel. Satan was an angel.
Take me into the castle and direct me to the dungeon where they keep the women accused of being witches.
You love me.
No.
Let down or he dies.
No, help me! Stay back!
Now, from mankind's darkest age, comes evil's ultimate weapon.
Look up, razor sharp.
The Pit and the Pendulum. Stuart Gordon, the director of Reanimator, and Edgar Allan Poe, author of The Raven, create a new vision of classic terror, The Pit and the Pendulum.
starring Lance Henriksen from Aliens and Near Dark, Jeffrey Combs of Reanimator, and the Devil's Oliver Reed. The Pit and the Pendulum. It's a slice of history.
Okay, so Jeff Combs looks like Harry Potter in that.
This is the sequel to Harry Potter, guys.
I didn't see Vincent Price in that at all. Where was he?
He's everywhere.
Well, as we all know, this has been Pit and the Pendulum has been done a million times, but this was done uniquely. It
was very unique. Great cast, though. I mean, you've got Tom Towles is in that too. Jeffrey Combs is in it. Lance Henriksen. Stuart Gordon's always good at treading that line where he just goes a little bit too much over the line. And he's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna step back a little bit." And he's like, "I'm gonna put my foot back in over the line." This is a great movie. It's an interesting take. It's one of Lance Henriksen's best performances. He's so crazy in this movie. I'm pretty sure this is just Saturday at Lance Henriksen's house.
Yeah,
this is how he is.
Well, it's in that great tradition of taking short stories from Edgar Allan Poe and making feature-length films out of them. So you have to change a lot up and create more story, I guess.
Week in Horror said, legendary Oliver Reed. I know Oliver Reed's in this too. He's not in this movie very much, but he's in that movie. He's Oliver Reed.
I love Oliver Reed.
He's somewhere drunk during that movie. He's just drunk. He's like, am I in the Pit and the Pendulum? I don't know.
What movie am I in today?
Is this a movie? Who did this movie? Is this Cronenberg's movie? All right. Come on here. I'm a Pit and the Pendulum.
What a perfect impersonation of Oliver Reed.
I'm spot on with Oliver Reed. That is Oliver Reed in a nutshell.
Yep.
I'll drink your grandma and your daughter at the same time.
One thing to probably note was this was during the era that Charles Band lived in Italy, and he shot all of his films in Italy, so he had these amazing locations that he could use, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was actually this was filmed. I can't remember though. Was this filmed in Italy too? I can't remember.
I thought this was one of the Italy movies.
Yeah, this was. So what he does is this is filmed at his same castle that he used for Castle Freak too. And it was actually used in a few other movies. So
I'm looking at IMDb. And there's a lot of really cool trivia about this. One of them says that Tom Savini frequently visited the set of this film. But
I'm Tom Savini.
Yeah, it was to see his friend Tom Towles.
Did Oliver Reed go, Tom Savini, you'll try to outdrink me?
Yeah.
I'm Oliver Reed. I'll have some beer. I can drink 36 beer every time we drink half. I'll go.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
That's interesting. Charles Band, his this castle he owned, guys. I don't think he owns it anymore, but the castle he owned at the time, he owned for about a little while, and a lot of movies actually shot there. I think it was huge. It was like a 200-room castle, and he lived in it. It's crazy.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, well, next up is this.
Ali mentioned it too. Yeah, Spellcaster was one that just came off of Vinegar Syndrome that I did unboxing for. They filmed Spellcaster at the same castle as well. Old Spellcaster. That's Ali's favorite movie, Spellcaster. She always talks about it. She says it's the best movie ever made since Gone with the Wind. So,
yeah, I don't know about that.
Can't get down. But let's roll to the next one. How about that?
Yeehaw!
You're next, buddy.
I'm ready for this. All right. Oh, man. Satan has chosen his victims. The battle with evil has begun. Sounds like the tagline for our show. A lonely kindergarten teacher discovers a secret well in the basement of her house. Look, don't ever go in your basement if it has a damn well in it, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, she soon finds herself being followed by a murderous satanic cult. This was released in Italy, March 1st, 1991. It's the fantastic Italian horror film, The Sect, directed by Michele Soavi, and co-written by Dario Argento. It's also known as The Devil's Daughter. And U.S., you'll probably see it as The Devil's Daughter more than anything. So.
Yeah. Here's the trailer. Let's check it out.
Watch, Lucifer. Watch. This is for you.
What's happening to me?
You have been chosen. I have come to give you that greater light.
Why did you disobey, Mary?
Come when the son of the rebel will become flesh and blood and will abandon God.
All right, guys. That's Michele Soavi, great Italian director that you should probably check out. I know that everybody knows him from a movie called Cemetery Man. That's the U.S. title, but it was called Della Morte dell'Amore in Italy. Fantastic movie, great director, protege of Dario Argento, and he worked with everybody. So
he worked with a lot of people. Lamberto, a lot of people. Great director, though. I mean, he has a set of 4 movies in a row that are fantastic. Stage Fright, The Church, The Sect, and Cemetery Man. Those are all fantastic movies. He sort of disappeared from film after that. He does do a lot of TV movies, TV shows in Italy. After Cemetery Man, it's kind of a weird thing, but he was flying kind of high. Like, he was on his way. Like, I know they tried to get him for a lot of mainstream roles and stuff, but he stopped directing for a while to be with his family, like raise his family, raise his kids and stuff. And about 5 or 6 years he took off, and then couldn't really get directorial gigs. You know, once you're gone for a few years, it's like.
Yeah. But he keeps super busy with TV. He does a lot of stuff on Italian television. There's one on IMDb called La Guerra e Finita that he's got several episodes under his belt already for this year. So he's still working. He was even as an actor, wasn't he in The Gates of Hell? Fulci's Gates of Hell?
He was in a lot of them. He was in City of Living Dead, yeah. He was in Blade in the Dark. He was in Demons too.
Absurd.
Yeah, because Demons, he was the guy who hands her the ticket at the very beginning of the movie, who's following her off the train. That's him. The mask on. That's him.
Phenomena.
Because he was always kind of on these sets. You know, he was always kind of there. He worked a lot as assistant director. So, like, he was assistant director of Phenomena, Demons, Cinabre, Absurd. He would just kind of step into roles too, which is smart. Fantastic guy. I would love to meet him sometime. He'd be a great guy to meet.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've tried. He's busy.
He's like, oh no, Lloyd. No, I'd be super busy. Lloyd, I'm making the TV. It's okay.
TV movie.
TV the movie.
Right.
I make it a movie like this with a TV. I drink the wine. It's so good.
So, what about the movie itself? Do you like this movie?
I love this movie, actually. The movie is it's a very enthralling film, let's say that, but it's very beautiful. Really well shot. Has a fantastic score from Pino Donaggio, who seems like he always makes a good score. You know, it's I don't know, it's fantastic. I mean, I really like this movie. Jamie Lee Curtis's older sister is in this, Kelly Curtis. And,
I see that. I was gonna say.
Yeah, she's actually a really good actress. You know, she's never did a whole lot. You know, she was never really known to people, but she was in Trading Places. She was Muffy in Trading Places, which is hilarious, and never really did much else. Great actress though; she's great in this. How about you? I love this movie.
In Texas, the tip is family.
So Richard Nettleson just tipped $5, and he said, "In Texas, the tip is family." So thank you.
Oh
Richard.
yeah,
give us the tip.
We love tips, guys. We love to get the tip. But you can only go the tip. We don't want the full money. All right, don't give us the full one.
All right. So next up, 1991 brought us a Stephen King adaptation. After returning to his hometown, a man is harassed by teenagers that died when he was a kid. First aired May 7th, 1991. This is the American made-for-TV horror film, Sometimes They Come Back, directed by Tom McLaughlin. And it was based on the 1974 short story of the same name by Stephen King. So let's watch the trailer for that one. Here we go.
Let's roll it.
He always looked up to his older brother.
You and me, Jimmy. We're always going to stick together.
But 27 years ago, he witnessed his murder.
Run, Jimmy, run!
And the death of the killers. Now they're back.
They came back for me.
The boys who killed your brother are dead.
Who are they? What do they want?
Leave my family out of this!
Stephen King moves through a world of obsession and revenge.
Can't keep running from them!
Tim Matheson, Brooke Adams, Stephen King, Sometimes They Come Back, Saturday.
Man, the announcer on that made it really, like, the way he said it was really fast. He said, sometimes they come back Saturday. So they're coming back on Saturday, Charles.
Sometimes they come back on Saturday. Saturday they're coming back. Not tomorrow. Saturday. Saturday.
So this was definitely a TV movie. It was good. Had Tim Matheson. I like it. Brooke Adams, Robert Russler.
William Sanderson's in this one too. Great actor.
Yep. So, pretty good cast. I've always liked Tim Matheson as an actor. I've always thought he was a cool actor. He's somebody I always like to see.
Yeah. Directed by Tom McLaughlin. He wrote and directed Friday the 13th Part 6, I believe.
Yeah, Jason Lives.
He wrote and directed that one. Kind of really the only two things he did was known for is this and that. Yeah, I mean, it was a TV movie. TV movies all have that sort of, cheap kind of feel on it, but it's a fun movie though. I mean, it's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst King adaptation. We've all kind of seen this story a little bit,
Yeah.
But well acted. Definitely. I mean, the way it aired on TV was horrible though, because they aired it on this like horrible, ridiculous pan and scan, 1:33 ratio, and like that wasn't fixed, I don't think, until the Blu-ray came out in 2015 of this. It finally had the right aspect ratio because it was filmed like a movie. It was filmed on 35 millimeter film with the 2:35:1 aspect ratio, so it was a widescreen movie. This movie was theatrically released in Germany and some other places overseas. So there actually was 35 millimeter struck prints of this that went out to theaters, but just not in the U.S. We got the TV version. So.
Yeah. I'll say that this one was a lot better than the sequel. Sometimes they come back again.
And then there's a third sequel too.
Sometimes they come back in December.
Sometimes they come back for more.
Yeah.
Doesn't that one have like Hillary Swank in it or something?
I can't remember. I can't remember. I don't know if I ever watched either of the the sequels in full. I'm just not sure. I
mean, I think we should make another one called Sometimes They Come Back for Frightmare HQ. That's what we're going to call it.
There we go.
But, this originally was optioned and written down to be used as a short segment in Cat's Eye. Like, this is one of the stories they wanted to be written into Cat's Eye, the movie. didn't really work because, I mean, this was a short story. And I think that's where some of the issues with this come, because it's like taking this short story and you're stretching it out a lot longer than it probably should be. But it's a fun movie. I mean, for a TV movie, it's got great production value. It's got some great shots in it. Always a fun watch. I know it's filmed in Missouri, so it's got that kind of backwoods feel to it.
Tyler Burrows says, give part 2 a chance. Okay, Tyler. Just for you,
I'll
go
rewatch
back
it.
and check it out.
I'm going to watch it for you, all right?
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it.
All right, Charles. You got the next one, and boy, is this a doozy.
Oh, God.
This is a sequel to something that we have talked about on the show before.
And I got you guys, a trailer for it through a lot of effort of myself to get one that we could show. So
I'm gonna let you intro this, and then as the last word on your intro, I'm just gonna go right into the trailer.
Please do it. Here we go, guys. A female nurse tries to hide her necrophilia desires from her new boyfriend, but still has pieces of her last lover in her possession. This was released a video in Germany, June 1991, and 12 days later, it became illegal. All copies were beginning to be seized by authorities. It became illegal to own this movie. It is the German horror film Nekromantik 2, directed by Jörg Buchwright. A sequel to his 1987 film Nekromantik. Do it.
All right, guys. Okay, so Return of the Loving Dead. Return of the Loving Dead. Get it? It's a corpse joke.
You know, God.
I mean, I'm not trying to take away the. I'm not trying to take away from the.
What do you say? We're gonna say stuff.
I don't know. I'm gonna say things, but I'm not trying to take away from the artistic integrity of these movies. They are well made.
Well shot.
I mean, yeah,
it's well shot. Has a beautiful score in it, and a very interesting story that's very unique.
A friend of mine. I was gonna say he turned me on to these, but
you're quite turned on. You got turned on to Nekromantik.
He gave me bootleg copies of these, and that's when I first saw these movies. And he also gave me the documentary, which is called, and I'm gonna censor myself. It was Corpse Effing Art. That was the name of the documentary, Corpse Effing Art. So. Dude, you can get these movies on Blu-ray, guys. I mean, they're out there. So,
and Arrow even released this in the UK. Arrow released Nekromantik 2, not in the US. In the US, you can pick it up from Cult Epics. But
yes,
if you have an all-region player, the Arrow version is a lot better of a format, but. I don't know if you want the best format possible for this movie, but if you're really desiring that intimate necrophilia taste in your mouth, there's a good copy of this out there.
Yeah, there is.
I will tell you, it was seized by the It was seized by the German government, though. It was 12 days after it hit video. They said nope, it'd be illegal.
Look, this movie, it's just gross, and I mean, if you're into that, check it out. But
Lloyd's
there's
turned on
nothing.
to it, so
There's nothing illegal in this movie. You know, I'm not. What I'm saying is like nobody actually dies in this movie, and that's a compliment to this film because when you're watching it, it's one of the grossest movies. It's very convincing that what you're watching is real. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy I got to show you guys a trailer for it, and I'm gonna say that it's available on Blu-ray and DVD in the U.S. Has a lot of bonus features on that Blu-ray. Also has an audio commentary. It's very interesting. I would say that these are movies that you should watch once. I'm not going to tell you that you should own these movies. You may be into these though. You never know. But they are on Blu-ray, and they're movies. They're actually well made.
As a filmmaker, I have a lot of respect for Jorg Buttgereit. I do have a lot of respect for him because, just because it's not art that I'm into doesn't mean I can't recognize it as art. And
he did that. He did that a lot of movies like that. Yeah. I mean, he did a movie called The Death King. That's another good one that came out in 90. Of course, Nekromantik. His movies, they're Totus King, he did one called Shram. That was later. Yes. He's a good filmmaker. They're all out there and crazy, but you know what? they're interesting to watch once. And I'm gonna tell you guys that there are more graphic trailers for Nekromantik 2. I had to skim some stuff. All right, there's a little bit. There's only so much we could do on here for you guys.
I mean, and it's just, just watching it, and that is a compliment to the director and the filmmakers involved in this, is that when you watch this movie, at least for me, I felt nauseous watching this movie. And I usually don't feel that way watching gross stuff, but this is truly gross stuff.
I didn't really feel nauseous. I think I was just more confused during it than anything. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Oh, I definitely thought I was going to puke more than once watching this movie.
I was more just like, well, that's interesting to do with that person. They would appreciate that. Wah, wah. Hey, well, baby. You come here often?
Speaking of dead bodies, I think we should move to the next one.
Should we?
Yeah. A medical miracle becomes a murderous nightmare after a man loses his arm in a car accident and has it replaced with a limb that belonged to a serial killer. Released August 2nd, 1991, is the American body horror film Body Parts, directed by Eric Red and starring Jeff Fahey. All right, Body Parts. What say you, Charles, about Body Parts?
Body Parts is actually a fun movie. It's sort of an updated version of Hands of Orlok. I mean, really, it's kind of what it feels like, but it's a nice little blend of thriller and sci-fi. It does kind of go into a downward spiral towards the middle. Like, it starts just throwing believability out the window. But in reality, it's actually a pretty well-made film. It was written and directed by Eric Red. Eric Red wasn't so much known as a director, but he was a really good writer. He wrote The Hitcher, and he wrote Near Dark. So really, really good screenwriter, really good at bringing these kind of stories to life. Great cast in this one, too. We see Brad Dourif a lot around this time, and he's really great in this movie. Mm-hmm. Jeff Fahey is a great actor, kind of an underappreciated actor. Always did a lot of great roles. Overall, I mean, I really enjoyed this one. It's a great one to check out if you haven't seen. Might move, like I said, start moving a little slow and weird towards the middle, but I always think it's a fun watch if people haven't checked it out before.
Yeah. JRE said that his favorite is Idle Hands.
Idle Hands is another good one, yeah.
That is a good movie.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah. And then there was The Hand.
The Hand, yeah.
Yeah. There were a lot of those, but
few...
those are more disembodied hand type films.
Yeah.
Disembodied body parts.
Yeah, kind of. But overall, I mean, it's a fun movie. Didn't do very well the box office when it was released. In 92, 93, it got a VHS release across a lot of countries and started actually getting a nice little following. Fun movie, though. I'd recommend really checking out. The only place this one's streaming is on All Access, CBS All Access. But you can rent it on Apple, Amazon, Vudu, and YouTube for like $4. Fun watch. There's a Blu-ray out there from Shout Factory, released just this year. Really good transfer on that one. It's like $22 right now. So nice little kind of body horror type movie. It's a fun little watch. I definitely give it the recommendation for people like those body horror thriller type movies.
Sweet. All right. So you're next, I believe. You got a cool one. It's got a little cult following, this film.
Oh, yeah, it does. I know this one. Three students get caught in the struggle between a good vampire and his evil brother in the Transylvanian mountains. Released direct-to-video August 8th, 91. It's the American independent film Subspecies, directed by Ted Nicolau and starring Angus Scrimm. Angus is in this movie. First installment in a series that included 3 sequels. Roll.
In the dark past, humans were their prey, and blood was their life.
I'm Radu. Find him before killing begins again.
Now in modern-day Transylvania, eternal evil has reawakened.
I'm afraid for you. She makes me want again. I must destroy him.
Subspecies, starring Michael Watson and Angus Scrimm of Phantasm. Subspecies, the night has fangs.
Subspecies, the night has fangs. I love these. I love these taglines, Charles.
You know, Subspecies is I enjoy this film series. It's kind of a good example of what you can do with a low budget. I mean, this movie was really low budget. It's kind of a throwback to the older vampire stories. It has this great moody score that works out just great. It was directed, like we said, by Ted Nicolau, and you know, Ted's got a long sort of career in horror. He worked on the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know he did recording, like sound department for that movie. He was a writer. He wrote and directed Terror Vision 2. He wrote and directed Dungeon Master, which is an interesting movie. Then he worked on, you know, quite a few things. You know, Subspecies movies have a good following, and they're an interesting story. They weren't really well received at the time, but I think it's because that kind of horror wasn't commercially marketable at that time. People were looking for something different. Kind of feels like a movie that if it came out in 1974, people would have probably liked it a lot more. But spawned
the thing about the 90s movies, especially starting in 91, I think people had horror movie fatigue back then because
so much.
The 80s was just an avalanche of horror movies, and more than that, it was an avalanche of slashers and slasher sequels. So the 90s were kind of bare, and you're going to find that out as we go through this series, Charles and I. Everybody's going to find out that the 90s, you know, there were films, of course, horror movies, but not as many.
Yeah, you know, the 90s, like you said, the 80s was big. Everybody was cranking out horror movies. As soon as horror started losing money, people stopped giving money to make the horror movies, you know, because for a while, horror movies through the 80s, you could make one relatively cheap and it would triple its budget back in box office. But that kind of faded. And that's why a lot of them went direct to video, because they couldn't find distributors, you know.
Yep.
So we see a lot of good direct to video movies. And Subspecies was one. Really recommend checking them out, though. They're a lot of fun. I do know Subspecies was the very first American film ever to be filmed in Bucharest, Romania, which is kind of interesting at the time because there's a lot of lore around that area. So it's kind of cool when you see somewhere become the first movie to film in a location. I'd highly recommend checking this out if you're a big fan of, you know, kind of the gothic style stuff of the 60s and 70s. Really, maybe pick up this series and give it a watch. You know.
There you go.
It's out there from Full Moon. It's out there, and I think when I looked, it was only like $9 for this one on Amazon on Blu-ray.
Yeah. And I don't know about Full Moon Features may have this on, or Full Moon Films may have this on their streaming service. So I haven't checked.
They may.
I'm not sure.
I can't seem to find the list of what they have ever. Seems like they hide it from me. They're like, "No, Charles, you shall not know. It's a secret."
It's a secret. So
it's a secret.
While,
I got a secret, Loyd.
While we did just discuss that slasher films were kind of waning a little bit, one was still kicking and screaming, and that's the next one.
And it shouldn't have been. Sorry.
A killer toy returns for revenge against the young boy who defeated him, who is now a teenager living in a military academy. Released August 30th, 1991. This is the American slasher film Child's Play 3, directed by Jack Bender. Although released only 9 months later, the story takes place 8 years following the events of Child's Play 2.
Ooh.
End of summer blues got you down? Well, you're in luck, because here comes the Chuck.
No, you're dead. We killed you. Wrong again, wimp.
Chucky's back, and this time, he's looking for a new recruit.
Just think, Chucky's gonna be a bro.
Child's Play 3, rated R, starts tomorrow at theaters everywhere.
All right, Charles doesn't like Chucky 3. Charles doesn't like it. I see why you don't like it. I see why you don't.
Let me throw it out there that I Charles really enjoys Child's Play 1 and 2 a lot. Really do. I don't like this movie, though. I mean, the script is almost nonsensical at points. The way they bring back Chucky is so atrociously stupid. It's just like, hey, we're dumping him in a vat of plastic. Now there's one more. He's back. And he's fresh.
No, I get you. You know, I'm a sucker for these movies. I even like Seed of Chucky. I had an immensely awesome time watching Seed of Chucky in the theater when it came out. I don't know. I guess they're guilty pleasures for me, but I just love seeing Chucky kill people and then, you know, try to get into a body and then... And Chucky, Seed of Chucky, I love the line where he's like, "What am I doing? I'm Chucky the killer doll." Screw that. He's just like, screw trying to repossess another body.
Chucky the killer doll. If you ever read the novelization, they completely change how he comes back too. Like the novelization of this one, when you read it, it's basically a rat chews on the Chucky doll that's left over, and then chews on another Chucky doll and transfers the blood over. I'm like, well, that's even more stupid. It's like, good Lord. I'm like, what's next? It should have been aliens. It should have been Chucky in space, and it should have been the same plot as Jason X. They should have came down and found a frozen Chucky and took him up to the station. And like, where the fuck's Andy?
The only one in this entire series that I was disappointed with was the last one, Curse of Chucky. I just,
Look,
it completely, the movie just lost me.
Yeah, I'll say that the acting in this is pretty good. Don't get me wrong, Dorff is great as Chucky. He's fantastic. I love him. He's crazy. That doesn't mean that everything else in this movie is good. Even the kids acting in this are pretty good. But even the death scenes in this are just ridiculous and too long. And nothing against the director. Jack Bender is actually a super talented director. Jack Bender went on to do he was executive producer and lead director for the TV show Lost, which I freaking love Lost. It's a great series. He also did like the Sopranos and Game of Thrones episodes too. But I swear to God, this was like somebody ran into an office like, guys, we got to get Child's Play 3 out now. It's like, what are we going to do? I don't care what you write. He could be on a spaceship. He could be under the sea. I don't care. We need it now. Tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's how these movies were made. They were just trying to capitalize on the popularity and get them back into theaters as soon as possible and make as much money as they could.
I do like what our Eduardo said, because that's going to lead us into the next one here.
I was just going to say, if you hated Child's Play 3, well, do we have a movie for you?
Yeah, we do. She walks, she talks, and she kills. A toy manufacturer buys a doll factory in Mexico, where a malevolent spirit has taken refuge in one of the porcelain dolls. First released in the UK, September 1st, 1991, is the American horror film Dolly Dearest, directed by Maria Elise and starring Denise Crosby and Rip Torn. Oh, shit. Dolly Dearest.
Rip Torn. Here we go.
This is the doll your daddy's gonna make in Mexico. And this is the factory where we're gonna make her and sew her little dresses. Isn't she beautiful?
May I have one, Daddy?
From the moment they met,
I'm gonna love her so much.
it was a fairy tale come true.
Good night, Dolly. Sweet dreams, Dolly.
But this is where the fairy tale ends and the nightmare begins.
Dolly? Dolly?
Play with this, bitch.
Dolly Dearest.
Man, that little boy said a dirty word, Charles.
Why?
Welcome
Why
to the
did he do
90s. That's the way we did it.
Welcome to the 90s.
Kids cursing was funny back then.
Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha.
Mr. 80s
Finland,
said, I have never seen this film. It's okay. You're not missing anything.
Richard Middleton wants Frightmare HQ dolls of us. I would take one of those too.
I don't know. That doll is super ugly in this movie.
In Finland, this movie was called A Doll That Is Not Played With. That's what it's called in Finland. It should have been called The Movie That Is Not Watched. Look, Ali asked if this is a Charles Band movie. This actually is not. This is a legitimate release, produced by Patriot Pictures and distributed by Trimark. So this was a legitimate film with a legitimate budget that did not make its budget back.
And actually had Denise Crosby in it.
Yeah.
What was
and
that?
Rip Torn.
And that was post Pet Sematary.
Post Pet Sematary. This was a this was a movie, all right. The one thing I have to always nod my head is this is a female directed horror film, which I love to see because we were very cock heavy at the time. Let's say that. But this is a movie that I don't think plagued from directorial skills. It just seemed like a really weird story, but I can't really knock that because Maria Elise actually wrote the story too. She was the director, so it's kind of knocked has a Child's Play knockoff, but I see it more like, did you ever see Curse of the Doll People in the 60s? That's more what it feels like to me. Curse of the Doll People.
I don't know if I've seen that or not, to be honest with you. I'd have to look it up.
Stephen Bird said, just thinking about Rip Torn makes me laugh. Me too. Talk about having the best name ever. What's your name? Rip Torn? Okay. You're hired. Cool.
Exactly. You're in, buddy.
You're in. This is a movie that I'll say is, I'll put it at this level for you guys. It's not good, but it's one of those that's so not good, it's fun to watch. I mean, there's so many scenes in this that are not supposed to be funny, and you'll just find yourself laughing your ass off. So this is a movie when you're really drunk on Saturday and you're like, I need something dumb to fill my life. It's happening with Dolly Dearest in your life. You need it.
Well, I will tell you, those one-liners sound stupid now, and they sounded stupid back then. We all made fun of them back then too. We all laughed and made fun of because every horror movie had somebody, cackling one-liners, just like that one kid with the shotgun. Whatever he said, eat this, bitch, and you're like,
play
okay,
with this,
whatever,
bitch.
Yeah. So we thought it was pretty stupid back then too.
I remember the line where she's like, I'm not losing my daughter to a 900-year-old goat man. Something like that. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? A goat man.
Just let her die and then go bury her back in the Micmac cemetery.
Yeah. Sometimes bed's better, Lewis. Sometimes bed's better.
Exactly. Okay. So next up, we have the return of a slasher stalwart. A dream-haunting killer returns once again to prowl the nightmares of a town's last surviving teenager and a woman whose personal connection to him may mean his doom. First released in Germany, September 5th, 1991. This is the American slasher film, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, directed by
spooky.
Rachel Talalay. It was released in the U.S. a week later on September 13th.
Yeah.
Trailer, please.
Let's do it.
As a boy, he was always different. No one understood him.
You ready for it, boy? It's time to take your medicine. Thank you, sir.
No one could control him.
Go inside, honey.
But now, it's a new beginning. The beginning of the end for Freddy.
Every town has an Elm Street.
Screaming while the bus is in motion.
It's your mind or go for it.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul, too.
We're gonna have to hit him with everything we got.
Now I'm playing with power.
We're in Twin Peaks here. It's gotta be me and him.
You want to live?
Hey, watch out!
What's with kids today, huh?
Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare.
Great graphics.
They've saved the best for last.
Okay.
All right, Charles. What is the best part of Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare?
When he pulls out the damn power glove. I got the power glove. Hey!
I do
love when this came out.
I do love the casting, though, of Freddy's father, Alice Cooper. That's fantastic.
You know, when it came out, the critics and audiences did this.
Well, speaking of, one-liner quipping killers, serial killers in movies or whatever you want to say, this is when Freddy became just kind of ridiculous, and that he was kind of just a pop culture icon at that point.
You know, it's interesting to see the transition from the first Nightmare on Elm Street to what his character became in this movie. You know, almost like a comedic film. That's kind of what they were shooting for. This is not liked by a lot of people, but I'll say that there is a lot of fun stuff in this movie. You know, there's a lot of fun scenes, a lot of really weird, crazy, inventive kills in this. You know, it's really cool. Some of it. We'll go with that.
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it has its moments. I will say, too, it has Lisa Zane, Billy Zane's sister, in it. Leslie Dean, who is a Texan, originally from Texas, and still lives in Texas today. It's got Ricky D. Logan. Yaphet Kotto, Tom Arnold, Roseanne Barr.
Well, at this time, I mean, you could get even Johnny Depp made an appearance in this, because at this time these movies were cash makers. I mean, this movie made like 5 or 6 times this budget, like everywhere. I mean, they would just crank out money on these. You know, it was it's just kind of the time. You know, they're fun watches, and like you said, the end was 3D for a little bit. They took that out in the video releases, but they eventually added it back in, I think, for the DVD or something.
Yes,
with some 3D glasses.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting because the original person they hired to write the screenplay for this was Peter Jackson, and Peter Jackson actually wrote a screenplay for this movie completely, and they turned it down. They hired a different screenplay guy, Michael DeLuca.
There probably wasn't enough one-liners in his screenplay.
Probably. He wrote a really strange screenplay that was like, it was like Freddy was older and weak, and the kids now take drugs to go to sleep so they can go beat up Freddy in their dreams. It was a really weird screenplay. I'm not even kidding you.
That probably would have been a lot better than this turned out, but okay.
But hey, we've got Alice Cooper and Yaphet Kotto and Springwood, Ohio. There we go.
J.D. Smith, DigiArtist, asked if Jackson's script was ever released. He wants to go read it.
No, but there are some excerpts. So like if you search online, you'll find some excerpts from it and like a synopsis overview of it. So
there you go. Go check that out.
If you do ever stumble across a full script, let me know, because I've never seen a full one.
Cool. All right. You are next up. Let's move on.
I will do it. All right. Oh, yeah. Death used to be the end, and now it's only the beginning. This is a fantastic movie. A woman enlists the help of a private detective to find out what her husband is up to at a remote cabin owned by his family. Nothing ever happens good in a cabin, guys. We know that. Debuting at the Sitges Film Festival in Spain, October of '91, it is the American supernatural horror film, The Resurrected, loosely based on the 1927 novella, The Case of Charles Dexter Ward, by H.P. Lovecraft. Written and directed by the phenomenal Dan O'Bannon. So, The Resurrected. Let's watch the trailer.
Terror, H.P. Lovecraft. From the director of Return of the Living Dead.
There's no evil in what I do, so long as I do it rightly.
The
The Resurrected.
I have struck depths that your little brain cannot fathom.
He lived centuries ago.
It is to be expected. The dead take much blood.
But for him, death was only the beginning.
The cops found 8 boxes of human remains. Turns out they've had a rash of tomb snatchings over in Europe.
Now, this wizard from the past.
Don't you understand what's going on down here, Lonnie? He beat death.
Has teamed with a man from the present.
So he's talking about bringing people back from the dead.
To create an evil that will last forever.
As the hunger grows, my control will surely weaken.
The best we can hope for is to somehow diminish Charles's homicidal and cannibalistic impulses.
The curse of the formerly dead is the hunger, and it will not be denied.
Chris Sarandon of Fright Night and Child's Play.
I have drawn down demons from the stars. There'll be no salvation for thee.
John Terry of In Country and Full Metal Jacket. James Sibbett of television's The Famous Teddy Z.
The destinies of all things, living and dead, are mine.
The Resurrected.
All right, Charles, The Resurrected. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really great movie. Really brilliant movie, actually. It's amazingly shot. It's one of the better page to screen Lovecraft adaptations that were out there. This isn't the first time the story was made. I know Roger Corman actually made this story very loosely in The Haunted Palace, which I think was 1963. The Haunted Palace was. Mm-hmm. But The Resurrected is, I mean, it's super well made. I mean, this movie is, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. I don't know. I mean, we've got a fantastic director for one. We got Dan O'Bannon, Dan O'Bannon. We've talked about Dan O'Bannon a lot. This is one of only 2 movies he directed. Dan O'Bannon also directed 85's Return of the Living Dead. So these are his 2 movies, and they're both so well done. I'm kind of sad that we didn't get more from Dan O'Bannon. But this is also the guy who wrote the original screenplay for Alien, Life Force, Invaders from Mars, a super talented filmmaker. And this is a great movie that I think everybody should watch, should see.
It's I will say that this movie was hard to find for a long time. And it was for the people that have seen this movie, because it's still not very well known. The people that have seen this movie usually love it. I'll say that much. You can get a Blu-ray from Shout Factory of this film, so I recommend going and checking this one out.
Yeah, the Shout Factory one has a 2K scan of the interpositive. It's really great. I will say that if you have an all-region player, you need to seek out the Blu-ray from Germany, from OFDB Films, because that is the only release that's ever been out that I believe that has the actual director's cut work print version of this. It's 2 hours and 17 minutes long. The domestic release and the release we all see in the Blu-ray is a little bit shorter. I think it runs 1 hour 45. And that release they did actually has a work print. It's not a restored work print or anything, but it's actually a full cut of the movie that Dan O'Bannon made. They made him cut it down because they felt like it was too long for a commercial release. And The Resurrected is fantastic, and that work print version actually adds on to it a little bit, gives it a little bit more depth. So, fantastic movie. Anything I recommend getting the Shout Factory, because the Shout Factory has a nice transfer from the interpositive. So, love it.
Sweet. Okay, next up, a puppeteer's ability to bring inanimate objects to life attracts the attention of the Nazis during World War II.
Yes, great movie. I'm leaving. We're done.
Yeah. Released direct-to-video October 17th, 1991. This is Puppet Master 3, Toulon's Revenge. Directed by David De Coteau.
The Nazis thought they held the world's strings. But Andre Toulon didn't need wires to make death move.
Herr Toulon has developed a method of animating his puppets without string. It's as if they were alive.
If Stein is even half right, this could be very important to my work.
This is one of the puppets I was telling you about.
Elsa, take what you want, you bastards, and get out of here.
That would be you, puppeteer.
Hansi!
Put him into the second car. Take him to Gestapo headquarters. And put the toys in with the toy maker.
Never knew a man who played with dolls before.
Herr Toulon has escaped your custody. We are very close to finding him.
No thing will stop me from seeking you out. And you will cry me mercy. And I will have none.
What is this joke?
Fight. I don't care how many patrols it takes. Fighting! Herr Toulon, you are a genius.
Elsa, this is the best I can do for you now. But you can still revenge yourself.
What is the secret?
Nell! No mercy.
You think I'm afraid of this?
You will be afraid.
Puppet Master 3, Toulon's Revenge.
Charles, I just got a text message from Udo Kier. He's upset that he was not cast in this film.
I could have been great puppet. I could have been the best puppet. I could have been all puppets. They know about the puppets.
And I already have the accent for it, so you should have just hired me.
I should have let me in the movie. I would have been Super Puppet Man. I would have been the puppet Udo. No, even changed name.
That's right.
This though, Puppet Master 3 is the best Puppet Master movie out of the whole series of Puppet Master movies. I love Puppet Master 3. You know, I have to give hats off to Full Moon on this movie because the fact that they did a World War II period movie on a relatively low budget is really fantastic. And you've got a great story in this. A lot of info on the background of the puppets. Such a fun and creative plot. Also, this introduced one of my favorite puppets, Six Shooter, the six-armed cowboy. And he's so crazy. And a fun thing about Six Shooter is the laughter of that puppet was done by Charles Band's father, Albert Band. And Albert Band actually escaped France during the Nazi regime. So every time you hear the six-shooter laughing when he shoots a Nazi, it's from a guy who actually escaped from the Nazis. So
that's fantastic.
That's a fantastic thing. So really great. Love this one though. It's so well done. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of respect for the Puppet Master series. It's got a huge following. He did a lot. Charles Band has done a lot, but I think he'll go down as being known for Puppet Master the most, though. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, Puppet Master is a series that everybody knows. I mean, you show the puppets to people, they're like, "Oh, Puppet Master." Mm-hmm. It's just very creative, though. I mean, the design of puppets is so cool. The storyline sounds like it could be ridiculous, but it works really well, especially in this one. It's so well done. It's so great.
Yeah.
Because I liked Puppet Master, and I wasn't the biggest fan of 2, but then 3 came, and it was like, oh, well, this one's freaking great. So, really, really great jump into there. And of course, you can get these from Full Moon. Full Moon's got the Blu-rays out, so.
Absolutely. And Dark Fury Reaper, he made a comment that I like. He said, I found it interesting that the puppets weren't always the bad guys, depending on which movie it was. That's very true, and that is a cool thing to think about.
That is a cool thing to think about. It's a good note.
Mm-hmm. All right, Charles. We are at the very last movie of the night.
Say it,
guys. This was kind of I don't know, this kind of took you out of 1991 with a bang. Go for it.
Took us out with a bang, guys. 2 adults and a juvenile break into a house occupied by a brother and sister. However, there are some surprises awaiting them. There's a couple things going on here, guys. This was released November 1st of 1991. It's the American horror comedy film The People Under the Stairs. Written and directed by Wes Craven. Woo!
In every neighborhood, there is one house that adults whisper about, and children cross the street to avoid. Now, Wes Craven, creator of A Nightmare on Elm Street, takes you inside.
Something's in there.
We gotta get out of here, Leroy.
All sorts of rumors about what goes on in that house. The police never took it serious.
She's been feeding that thing between the walls again.
Very, very tense about this.
There must be another way out.
Can't get out. No one ever has.
What goes on in this house is a sin.
Your father's one sick mother, you know that? Actually, your mother's one sick mother, too.
But what goes on under the stairs is a nightmare.
It is time to clean house. Let's go.
Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs.
All right, Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs. I think this one, a lot of people, I see a few comments where they say that they didn't really like it at first, but it's kind of grown on them. And I think I'm probably in that category. You can't deny the performances in this movie, especially by I got to think of their names, but the couple that played Twin Peaks. Everett McGill.
McGill and Wendy Roby.
Wendy Roby, that's right.
Yeah. Everett McGill's fantastic in this.
He's fantastic. I love Everett McGill.
Daddy, can we start dressing like him? Can we start putting on like gimp costumes and I can pop out and be like, Daddy Loyd, is it time for Frightmare HQ?
I love him in Silver Bullet. I think that is.
Yeah.
I think he's great in that movie as a werewolf preacher. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean he's a great actor who didn't really do a whole lot. I know he was in Dune, and he just kind of would always appear in stuff, and he'd be really good in it. Then you just wouldn't hear from him, and then he'd appear in something again. So Everett McGill's a great actor, and this is a great movie from Wes Craven. You know, this was kind of, I don't know, almost towards the end of Wes Craven, kind of before he became more of just a name than anything, you know. Yeah. This was one of the last movies he actually, you know, wrote himself for a while. I think he did New Nightmare after this, and then he didn't write anything for like over a decade. For a while, he just kind of had his name attached to things, and this is a great story, though. Fantastic screenplay, super creepy. The makeup on it is fun. The kids under the stairs are creepy as hell, you know. Everybody, this whole movie's fun.
And everybody loves
on
Roach.
VHS a lot. Fool!
There you go.
I can do the whole movie. Fool!
I think this one is well loved by a lot of people. But I think you know, some of the people like me who, I don't know, the 90s really wasn't so much my generation at the time. You know, I've gone back and watched a lot of the 90s films, but at the time I wasn't tuned in very much.
Yeah. Yeah, and this was kind of my era. You know, this is when I was watching like everything that came out. So that's kind of like when I'm programming the 90s for you guys, I've like look at the movies and I'm like, God, I think I watched all these when they came out. Like every damn movie, and I'm like, oh, it's bad. Oh, it's bad too. Oh, it's not good. I was like, oh, Dolly Dearest? That's got to go on here. It's so bad. It's got to go on the list.
That's
Dolly
right.
Dearest. But I do love People on the Stairs. I mean, way back when it was first released, I never saw it in theaters, but I remember getting the VHS when it first came out, and I watched it. I think this is a movie that I was younger and I hid, and then we had all these late fees from the video store. Ever, my grandparents were upset. I was like, I want People Under the Stairs. I love it. It's my favorite.
So I just want to mention we've got, before we go on, because the next thing we've got is our honorable mentions, but I did want to say hello to a few people. We've got quite a few watchers right now. I want to say hello to all of you. I'm seeing a few in here that I don't see very often, like James UVA, James Zuva. I'm not sure who that is, but welcome to the show. Thank you for watching with us. And anybody else that hasn't commented, I don't see you unless you comment on YouTube. But I want to say thank you all to everybody that's watching.
Yeah, thanks everybody. We love doing this. We do this every Wednesday. This is the, I don't know, number of show we've done now. We've made it through the 70s and 80s. So if you want to go back and watch those, we got them on our YouTube.
I mean, we've done a couple of shows every week for the past like 6-7 months. So I don't know. I don't know where we're at.
I just black out. We start talking about movies. So
Neil McElhaney just popped in and said, "Hi guys, howdy Neil."
What's up, Neil?
Oh, wait a minute.
What's up?
JRE summoned El Diablo. Awesome.
He
Thank
did?
you very
All
much. It was
right.
good to see El Diablo. JRE,
I know, we
and
haven't
once
seen
again,
El Diablo.
we haven't. And once again, I want to say thank you or happy birthday to JRE. That today is his birthday. So tell him howdy doody and happy birthday for us and to you and to everybody else out there.
Yeah,
Did
definitely.
any of that make sense that I just said?
Everything just made sense that you said, Loyd. Everything.
Awesome. Good to hear.
I'm happy with what you said. But no, glad everybody's on. Guess we could roll our honorable mentions video. Then we got to give away a movie, a Blu-ray courtesy of Arrow Video, our wonderful friends at Arrow Video across the pond.
All right, we're going to play the honorable mentions. These are films that we didn't highlight, but we are going to sort of highlight them in our honorable mentions. Stay tuned. We got a giveaway coming up right after this.
Yeah.
Beware of illegal video cassettes. Check whether this video cassette carries a genuine security sticker. When in doubt, telephone the Federation Against Copyright Theft, FACT, on 081 568 6646. And there's only one person who can save them.
I come to trouble. Just my girl.
The Revenge of Billy the Kid for animal lovers everywhere.
How are these things?
The Boneyard.
Party hardy.
I do this for the sake of eternity.
No!
Beyond madness, beyond evil, is the horrific world of the Servants of Twilight.
When you think of electronics, think of Smith's. GE 20-inch color TV with remote control, only $239. Big 25-inch Zenith color TV with remote control, just $397. Or a Magnavox Deluxe VCR with on-screen programming, only $217.
Something to the children. They're changing them. They don't belong to us anymore. This is not my baby. I don't know what it is, but it is not mine. They're eating us alive!
The unborn. Having a baby can be a scream.
Murdered. You can't leave me! Phyllis! Loaded!
Beauty Queen Butcher.
Kinda cute. Kinda.
John McNaughton's The Borrower.
Scanners to the New Order.
Wow. I think that guy might have ran out of breath.
I think he died.
I think he died after that long scream.
That's what happens when you scan people. You scan the shit out of them. You're like, ah!
Dark Fury Reaper said was unaware they made a second Scanners. Yeah, they actually made a Scanners 3 also.
Yeah,
you could get a double feature from Scream Factory at one point of both of those movies. I don't know if you still can. I don't know if you really want to, but
Scanners 3, The Takeover, is not one I'd recommend getting. But if you want to watch them, go for it. It's on you. I'm not going to say. Some people like the Scanners series. 2 is still watchable, but 3 probably won't be on the video.
There was a Scanner Cop 2. So there was Scanner Cop and Scanner Cop 2 as well. So I don't know.
I mean, you're always my Scanner Cop, Loyd.
Yeah. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to talk about something. Mr. 80s 1224 said, talk about Silence of the Lambs. So we're going to talk about Silence of the Lambs.
Look, guys. Charles loves Silence of the Lambs, all right? A lot. But I feel like Silence of the Lambs is more of a psychological thriller and not more of a horror movie. It's negligible. I actually had it on our list, too, and I pulled it because I was like, oh, it's just so much of a psychological drama thriller.
And it has horror. It has horror elements. I can't really disagree with Charles on that. It's got horror elements, but it's a thriller. It's not really a horror movie.
Yeah, and I had it on the list, and I purposely put it on the list because when I ran a search so I could make sure I checked a lot of movies from 91, and it was never on any list. And I was like, well, Silence of the Lambs came out in 91. Let me check it.
Yeah.
And I put it on my list, and I looked later, and I saw it's just always tagged as a psychological drama, and I was like, I'm going to put it on the list anyway. Then I took it off, put it back on, took it off. I was like, all right. I love it.
IMDb listed as a crime drama thriller. So, I think it's got a lot of stuff horror fans love. Absolutely. We're not going to say that. But, yeah, I mean, categorically, it's really a thriller. That's what it is.
But if in your eyes, I mean, if anybody sees it as a horror film, I won't ever disagree with you either. That's your opinion, and I think it's a fair opinion. You know.
Yep. Same here.
I love me some Silence of the Lambs. I love me some Buffalo Bill. I always dance around my house just like him. Robe, tucked in, ready to go. You know, that's how I wake up every morning. Lloyd's seen it. I like to FaceTime Loyd at 6 a.m. like, hey Loyd. Just working on the show
it's
for this
disturbing.
week.
It's just as disturbing as the movie, or if not more.
Do you have anything you want to add to the agenda? Anything you want to add?
Oh boy, scary stuff.
Want
So
me to
that's
put on my
it, guys.
lipstick?
That's the end of 1991. What did you think? Besides Silence of the Lambs,
What'd you guys think?
if you have others that you would have liked to have seen on the list, when the video ends, please make sure to drop a comment and let us know what you wanted to see on the list, or what you would have put on the list, something that we missed. We love to hear about that.
I like to hear about that too, because like I said, this is always our choices. You guys may have some personal choices and maybe something we haven't seen, because we watch a lot of damn movies, but we haven't seen everything. I mean, there's a lot of movies out there, and we're always looking for new recommendations. So if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to leave us a comment on YouTube when you're done. Not in the chat, but on the comment page itself. Let us know what your favorite one we did is, or something we missed. Other than that, man, I think we should give away a movie. What do you think?
Do it, Charles. It's time to do the giveaway.
I'm gonna close my eyes and go in my Arrow box of fun.
Okay.
I got a giant box here. Oh my god, what is that? That's not a movie. Ew. What is that? It feels like a potato. No, it's not it. Oh god, the Andromeda Strain.
Andromeda Strain. Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah. Andromeda Strain. Loyd, ask him a question.
About the Andromeda Strain. Okay, well, let's see.
Doesn't have to be about the Andromeda Strain. Just something in general.
Well, I don't know. Should I ask a location? Because I know a location from the film.
Sure. Whatever.
Okay. So
Whatever
the town
figures
at
out
the beginning of Andromeda Strain, where they discover this, it was a satellite, right? Where they discover the satellite crashed and there was trouble in this town. Where was that filmed in real life? Give me a city or a state. We'll take either one. Ooh, spooky.
Shafter, Texas.
I don't think that's right. The town at the beginning. I'm going to verify that. Somebody said Shafter, Texas. So let me go. I was thinking it was somewhere else. Oh, you know what? I think he's right. It is Shafter, Texas.
It sounds like Richard Nettleton won.
Look at that. How did you know that? That's pretty deep, bro.
You knew it, and Loyd didn't even know it. He thought he knew it.
I thought it was in New Mexico.
I thought it was in New Mexico too, but Andromeda Strain's a great movie.
Yeah. Shafter, Texas. Ghost town where the Andromeda Strain was filmed.
And David said Piedmont, New Mexico. So now I'm confused. What's the answer?
I think it's Shafter, Texas.
All right.
We're going with Shafter, Texas, guys. That was the ghost town. It's in Presidio County. Silver mining ghost town. The Andromeda Strain was filmed there. So you got it, man. Richard Nettleton, you just need to get over here. Is he the one that won it?
Richard said it. David said, I say we both win.
David Snobble. He said Shafter, Texas, right?
Yeah.
Todd Lewis said it first, though. Yep. Todd Lewis won. So there you go, Todd. You win the Andromeda strain. All right, Charles. Let's give a wrap up here. Let's let everybody know what we're doing next.
Andromeda strain.
And that'll be it for tonight.
Well, we don't have a regularly scheduled programming on Saturday, but we will be at the screening of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in Richardson, Texas. Doors open at 6 for that.
Gates open at 6. Yep.
Yeah.
We have Fast Custom Shirts showing up as a vendor. We have Death's Head Press showing up as a vendor. And I'm trying to remember some of the others. I can't remember right now, but we will have vendors there. Make sure you come out and check out the vendors. Meet Ed Neal, get an autograph, get a photo with Ed, and see Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and have a barbecue dinner while you're watching Chainsaw Massacre
We have
in
to
the
make a
comfort of
correction.
your
Apparently,
car.
Todd Lewis was first. Todd Lewis got it first.
I thought I went back and fixed that. Anyway, Todd Lewis is the winner, period.
Todd Lewis is the winner of Andromeda Strain. Todd Lewis. Look, we don't know what we're doing. Todd Lewis, he won the Andromeda Strain. Everybody corrected us. Hey, we've got an awesome crew of people here. They keep us honest, so thank you guys.
That's right. And we've got quite a few viewers over on Twitch. I'm just going to go through these real quick. I want to say hello to Aiton, Commander Root, Dark Fury Reaper, Feet, JD Smith, DigiArtist, Lurks, Marisu27, M. Petrie, Mats Meredith. We've already talked about, but we want to say hello to Mr. 80s, Saddest Kitty, and Scooby-D398. What do you think of that, Charles?
Nice. Man, I love everybody. I love Twitch. I love our Twitch crowd. I want to thank everybody. TCM's going to be fun this weekend, so hopefully we'll see everybody there. I'll be there. Loyd will be there. We'll have smiling faces on, wearing our masks.
And social distancing.
Social distancing. Thanks to everybody. If you're one of our Patreons, I think we're going to try to do our Patreon exclusive show here soon. We've been doing the director series where we talk about a director. I'll probably poll our Patreons like last time and see which director you guys want us to do. Last time it was Wes Craven was our director. We'll see what we got next time. If you guys got any ideals you want to see, throw it up. And if you're not one of our Patreons, go join, become a Patreon. It's fun. You get more Charles Loyd. And I think I'm going to do our Patreon giveaway box here pretty soon for October. Got a good box for you guys. I got a good box for October for the Patreons. Ooh.
Joining Patreon gets you one free or one bonus episode of Frightmare HQ every month. And we also put your name in a drawing for a big box of goodies that we give away. And we're always doing fun stuff. Charles has a screening coming up for our Patreon members only of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep. Live screening at Cinemark and Dallas. And I think we got that one filled. I think I have one seat left. So there's one seat on that one. That's going to be fun, though. So if you guys are coming out there, it's going to be fun.
And it's really affordable to join our Patreon. It's like $9 a month. And you get cool stuff, and it kind of helps us out and helps us pay the bills here at Frightmare headquarters. And we want to thank you all for doing that. Anything else, Charles?
And that is it. You know, we'll be back. So no Saturday show like normal. No, we will be back Wednesday for 1992. But coming up, remember, not this Friday, but next Friday is going to be the soft opening of Frightmare Collectibles. That's on the 23rd, which is Loyd's new store. Freaking awesome. Me and Loyd are trying to work out a sneak preview for everybody. So we're going to try to go live, do a little sneak preview before that as well. But we'll let you guys know when we're going to do that. But I definitely recommend everybody hit up Frightmare Collectibles, like it on Facebook, and Loyd's got some cool stuff out there, so it's a good spot to go check out. Other than that, that's all I got until Saturday at Chainsaw.
All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us today. You've been watching Frightmare HQ. My name is Lloyd Cryer, and I'm here with Carlos Blueberry, otherwise known as
Charles Doze. The one,
there he is.
The only, the sexy.
Peace out, guys.